What's up? How's everyone doing? That song's by Cabaret Nocturne. They are Cabaret Nocturne. I said Cabernet. Sorry. Fucked that up. Cabaret Nocturne. I love goth pop. I love 80s pop, and I think there's some sort of correlation between the new age goth pop of today and inherently 80s music, kind of like that Tears for Fears, almost like Aphex Twin and Tears for Fears got together. And I love that music. Trust, Cabaret Nocturne. I hope I'm not pissing people off by combining Sidewalks and Skeletons. Good songs. They have good songs about death, which I think is interesting. I don't know if it's just part of the product, but or it's alludes to something. But the creator of Sidewalks and Skeletons has contacted me on Instagram at one point. It was very nice to me when I was going through something hard. Awesome band. I cooked salmon the other day. I've never done that. I've been eating these vegetables, prepackaged large skewers, and just making them a meal instead of eating chips or something like that. I wanted to see, okay, can I do my Guy Fieri, Anthony Bourdain, may rest in peace, version? I don't know. I don't know. I thought of a really fucked up joke, but it's a really, it's not gonna go there. I've done enough bad things today with other videos. I might combine with this one, I don't know. But I thought, this came to me inherently. Tinfoil, salmon, oven. Cook the vegetables on the stove. Just in my head, that's what I came up with. Apparently, that's what you do. You can do that. It's not the only way, obviously. But I'm that's Richard Feynman, the quantum physicist, saying he would come up when he was younger. He would come up with math that already existed and thought that he was the creator of it. He's a brilliant guy explaining to people how knowing the definition of something doesn't imply you understand it. I got this hair. God, it's driving me nuts. Oh, it's still there. It's the bridge of my nose. Fuck, where are you? And yeah, I don't know. It's just okay, I made it in the first try, first salmon I've ever done, which is, in truth, I'm taking smoked salmon and I'm making hot, baked or whatever, sauteed vegetables on the stove, whatever the terminology is. I'm I can't eat, it has to be warm too. So I wrapped it, put butter on top, added some Cajun spice thing, wrapped it in tin foil, and left it in there for 5 to 8 minutes. I can't remember what it was. It's gorgeous, absolutely fucking gorgeous. And this is the kicker. I know that Le Creuset pots, cast iron, are the best for heat, convection, or dispersal, and they're wonderful. But if you're not into cleaning a pot, and I'm not into cleaning pots, especially something that it's almost it's the cast iron people are no, but you want old food to grow into the pot so it tastes good. You want what you want is fungus to grow, and that's what brings the texture. That's what helps season the pot. Motherfuckers, so weird, man. Seasoning a pot. It's too much for me, man. That's white people. I'm just kidding. Again, I'll not go with that shit. It's just I want simple, no fuss. Throw it in the washing machine, be done with it. Even be able to wash it, because you can't do this with cast iron. You can't throw it in the sink and just a scrub, and no, it's an hour of it's awful. And I know Stanley Tucci's a big cast iron fan, all the Le Creuset shit. I'm Did I ever post my pots video with Kelsey telling me how I ruined her pot? Hypothetically, I ruined it because I cleaned it, or was gonna clean it in the sink. Or I was gonna put it in the washing machine. I didn't, and I just left it in the sink, but it could have been ruined had I done it. And so she was mad that I was going to do that. I explained that it was my intention. And I said, well, it's not, nothing happened. But she was yeah, but that's a big deal for her. It was her first fancy pot. And I was this is at 4 o'clock in the morning. She came back, and she was just yelling at me and I was all right, listen, this is all about how, not the pot, but how the pot is a personification of how I treat her. And I'm fair, maybe. I take her for granted sometimes. Well, we'll get into that, but another time. Is it possible to get a life insurance policy without a suicide provision? I just was curious, because you could be really disassociative from like to depersonalize yourself from just this existence and be like, I want to help my friends out and sign $1 million life insurance policy, and then within a year you kill yourself and then they get it. Not certain you get to reap the rewards and the benefits of knowing that, cogito ergo sum, because you're dead, at least biological tissue dead, conscientiously, your quantum mind. I don't know, but it seems like there are some insurance companies that do that, and I think that's weird. That's a real kicker. I think like they sit down with you and they're like, "What? Suicide provision? What are you nuts? You need to kill yourself so other people get the money?" No, the scam is you kill someone and get their life insurance, not you kill yourself and then you're just a nice guy. Like, come on, what do you want? $20 million? No problem. No suicide, you're fine. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. There are some people, I don't know, like me that would take advantage of that because I care about my friends. I thought of this thing the other day, like what if a guy with ALS, kind of like Stephen Hawking, was a big Trump supporter and got caught up, he's filmed this, it's all synthesized, at a Biden rally, but he's like, and I don't know, I think that'd be funny. He's like, what are you gonna do to the guy? Because he's kind of, he's in an unfortunate circumstance. He's gonna treat him like shit, rip his flag off his chair. He's have the flag really bolted in. I think that would be interesting to see. I saw Panic Room over the weekend. I hadn't seen that since it was in the theaters with my mom. Jared Leto's cornrows. Was that cultural appropriation? But it wasn't his choice. It was wardrobe and or the people that did that movie. That's a common misconception about actors is the words, the script. Oh my God, that was hilarious what you said. Well, I didn't really say it. Some guy you didn't see said it, and then I just plagiarized it, which is my job. It's not really plagiarism. It's fine. We're all on the same page. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. Never before, more like-minded people, like today. Like everyone agrees exactly the same thing about everything, especially in LA and areas like that. This situation, George Floyd, has a potential for actually making changes, which is great because it seems like a lot of people do join the police force just to fire their fucking weapon. Was it Leonardo DiCaprio and Departed? What's the line? It's like therapy for discharging his weapon. We signed up for this shit so we can use our weapons. Sort of. I mean, that's horrible. Sorry, I fucked that. I mean, it's not planned. I'm just talking. It's true though. It's like a license. Money printing. How many black people can I shoot today? It's true that there is this sense, and if you look at the hierarchy of pay scales and stuff like that, people who are not inherently the smartest people in the world, and some cops are very smart, some are not, but by and large, by averages, they're not all rocket scientists. Again, not condemning police officers in terms of intelligent quotients, but there's been studies that suggest that people that are in lesser power positions in life, in terms of IQ, executiveship, and the hierarchy of the pay scale, they tend to be sometimes abuse power when they receive it. They Stanford prison experiments explain how a superior told an underling something to do, and just having the ear, one of the conclusions, having the ear of your boss, that sort of symbiotic relationship of an executive working with you, instructing you, there's a sense of self-importance, and you throw moral relativism and everything else you hold dear about human life by the wayside, and torture someone in the other room and keep pressing that button it like electroshocks them because your boss says so, and it makes you feel good that you're doing what your boss says. But you see people who like, I don't know, seem like relatively unhappy with their lives, and they kind of like are really strict with their dogs when you're like walking by. It's almost like they want you to know like that they are in charge of the dog situation. Like, Michael, no one is your dog Michael, but like, you know what I mean? Like, Rufus, stop it. Stop it. Hey, buddy. Rufus, stop it. It's not really like, if you do that at the park, I don't think it helps you get pussy. You know, people like bring cats and dogs. Oh my God, that girl, Diane Lane. Oh, so gorgeous, so hot. There's a picture of her in that movie with John Cusack where she's in high school. They use that picture. I'm like, okay, that came out wrong. How do I recover? Nah, I can't. She's just young in the picture. It looks like a high school graduate. Might have been college. Let's save myself. And she looks gorgeous. Of course, it's not really fair. Sexualization of young people. It's, you know, it's like Brooke Shields' Blue Lagoon looked beautiful. Was that not to be sold as sex, even though she was like 14 when they filmed it? Is that fucked up? I know, I'm just saying. It's more about whether you know they're that age. But then again, I don't know about that. It's so fucked up. There were like 21-year-old women that thought Leonardo DiCaprio was attractive when he was like 15, 16. I don't know. Man, I fucked myself. I'm fucked now. No, but she looked gorgeous. Like just gorgeous woman, and she is gorgeous. I think she's good. Weird pregnant women jokes. Is there these comebacks? My wife's pregnant. She has all these weird cravings. You know, for like pickles and my neighbor's cock. Is that something that can be worked on? Or what about this? What about this? It's like, is this a comeback when you and your buddies are talking trash about each other's wives? Obviously, you do this with like close friends, and it's okay. Not so much like acquaintances at like a poker table if you haven't met everyone there, because you might get your ass kicked. Or worse yet, they decide not to kick your ass and they just collude to take all your money. That's possible. Actually, I think that's happened to me. Not because they didn't like me, because I think at some of the games at even casinos, there's guys that are just routine players, and they just think it makes more sense in terms of protecting their variance to take advantage and work together with kind of like their fellow pros against fish or amateurs like myself. Even regular amateurs who bring a lot of camaraderie to the table because I make goofy jokes and remarks. Anyway, you and your buddies say something like, "Oh, well, your wife left her diaphragm in my treehouse last night, buddy." That was one of my old jokes. It's like, "Oh yeah? Well, your wife pegged me last night, so." Again, the emasculation of that sexual act is, again, you know. So, what else I got going on? Did I write some notes down here? What else is going on? What is happening? Oh yeah, I did this dance. This woman did it. The white girl did this interpretive dance for George Floyd, a choreographed thing. And I don't know if it added this video. I think I might just leave it as it is. It's a 3-minute little bit I did. I did it one take. Again, this is the self-flagellation circle jerk of, look how amazing I am. I'm part of the difference. I'm part of the change. And really, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Because you weren't part of anything before an arbitrary incident that's occurred a million different ways and a million different times, and all of a sudden you choose this one, probably because it caught your attention through the media, the exposure. But it's almost like Elizabeth Warren saying she's Native American when, forget the percentage blood, less than 1% of Cherokee in her genome. Forget that. She doesn't work with Native Americans. She doesn't do anything for their causes. She just wrote that down so she had a better chance of getting into Harvard Law, or whatever the fuck it was. It was Harvard Law. That's fucked up. That's not cool. Those type of things aren't cool. The smaller scale of that is someone on Instagram saying, I just want to, it's awful what happened. I can do something. And then these micro free pub, free press, retail and other people take this woman who does this for free. She might get views and it might be monetized to some degree, but other people will reap the reward by letting that snowball. Because that's the key. You get the celebrities involved, you get others, and then you just see snowballing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and then it becomes a thing. And then Drew Brees is recanting statements about kneeling for the flag as if his opinion is somehow racially insensitive. Again, why can't it just be about a corrupt cop killing a man, which is apropos? He arguably could have done this with a white person. It's possible. It's not just race. Almost belittles how fucked up it is. It's so superficial. We should band together and understand there's inherent corruption. Never mind the race part of it. Police officers make abusive choices for the sake of like a psychological power move all the time. And I think it is tilted towards sometimes black people when they think they can get away with it because of statistical anomalies therein, or I don't know, legitimacy within crime statistics that may sound biased, but inherently are true. It should be noted, more white people are being killed by the police every year, and yet around 60% of all violent crimes committed by 7% of the U.S. population. Black men. That's a healthy juxtaposition that's unfortunate and frustrating. And the reason for that has nothing to do with race. It's socioeconomics. That's what needs to change. That's what's most important. Because race doesn't, it's like saying the wage gap exists for women because they're women, that when they're just being oppressed. It has nothing to do with career choices or the fact that they get pregnant and sometimes stop their career. So on average, that derails them. But men don't get pregnant, right? They don't take maternity leave, generally speaking. They can, but they generally don't. Those things weigh more heavily. It's an endogeneity error in statistics, as they call it, if you just take some superficial statistic. And it undermines George Floyd's death. It undermines the movement of really making change. Because you're making it superficial beyond reproach, that it's the only reason George Floyd died is because of racism. No. It's not some sort of cultural failure of police training in terms of race relations. It's police training, period. It's the procedures in which they hire people that love to impose their will. Sorry, COVID, I gotta sanitize that. After the fact. This is, I think, more substantial than just saying it's all about race. I don't know, man. This is not like a funny podcast. It's these thoughts that came to my mind. I don't know. Let me see. It's on my... Oh, I can't see because it's on the fucking thing. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Dude. I don't know. I need to have guests on. I want to have guests on. I want to have Matthew McConaughey on. I'd love to have George Stephanopoulos on. I want to have every supermodel that I'm attracted to on. Sorry, Kelsey. I want to have Tom Cruise on, and then we can focus on how best to run when we're being chased. He's like John, like this Tom. He's like, no. No. Like this. Cut the wind, Andrew. I didn't prepare this very well. Because I did an interpretive dance earlier. It took a lot of energy out of me. I stayed up late last night, working on other things. I don't know. All right. I'm done for right now. Bye.